What's up, YouTube? This is Dave's Had Enough Wine 7. This is another video to do with UFC 205 review. Did it live up to the hype, and was it worth the wait? And another video from Dave. And yeah, pretty much UFC 205, man. Did it live up to the hype? Was it worth the wait? Yeah, that shit was awesome. It was really good. I liked it. I don't think it was as good as Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 1 or 2. Nothing like that. I mean, those were just fucking amazing, fights in itself. Just those fights alone on the cards they were on, not counting the other fights, that was just amazing. Watching them two guys go at it, man, I can't wait till the trilogy fight. There's got to be a trilogy fight. I mean, one thing I have to say before I start this review, and it still bothers me to this day, they act like the whole Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor first fight didn't even happen. I mean, I'm sorry, it did, people. He choked him the fuck out. He beat him. Bad. Not like bad, but he beat him. I will give it to Conor. He went at him, but Nate fucking finished his ass. Second fight, I had Nate Diaz win, but Conor did. It was pretty, I mean, I could see where people would say Conor won, if you want to sit there and argue it. But, I mean, come on. The first fight existed. The second fight, they both went at it. It was tough, for both of them, that second fight. You can't deny that. Conor didn't go in there. I mean, you could say that was anybody's match. Let's just be fair. That was anybody's match. I could sit here as even though I'm a Diaz fan when it comes to them two, I think it was Diaz. But the first one, no doubt about it, Nate Diaz choked his ass out in the second round. Plain and simple. But yeah, pretty much this UFC 205 really good. I have to say I have more respect for Conor McGregor. I was a little ashamed of Eddie Alvarez. He's an excellent fighter, but man, Conor went in there and just fucking schooled his ass. Gave him the 4-punch combo at the end, and knocked him down the first, first round, 3 knockouts, I believe, knockdowns. And then just fucking pretty much 4-hit combo and then pummeled his ass. It was done. You have to give it to Conor. He said he was going to do what he was going to do, and he did it. Eddie Alvarez is like, oh, this is an easy fight. I got this. And, Eddie Alvarez is a good fighter from what I've seen when I watched some of his old matches. And I was like, Conor's going to have, he's going to have a little bit of an issue here. This is the guy, that's good on the ground. Most of the people he fought with stand-up fighters, Nate being, he can do ground really good. But we saw how that went. It was no walk in the park like he always usually has, but you have to give him, one thing I like about Conor a lot, I love his shit talking, because you guys know I like the shit talk. It's fun, and he's like the master at it when it comes to UFC, and that's what I do like about the dude, and I have to give him credit. He went in there and fucking schooled Eddie Alvarez. You cannot, you have to give him the credit. You have to give a man credit, but I do think, they're talking this whole thing. I watched the press conference, after the fight. Now Tyron Woodley, he's been barking up that tree, but he barked up it even more, wanting, the Conor McGregor versus, Tyron Woodley match. And I think it's funny, he's been asking for this match, but, he fought with him and Wonder Boy, I'm sorry to say, I just talked about the whole Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, 2 match where I think it was Nate Diaz. I'm sorry. I think Stephen Thompson won that match. I mean, even though there was parts in that match, where Tyron Woodley really let into him, I'm sorry. If you watch that match, Stephen Thompson had, I would say, what I had here on my end, I had Woodley first round. That was the round where it looked like he broke his nose. I don't know if he did or not. Then you had Wonder Boy second round. Third round Wonder Boy. You could maybe argue a tie. Fourth round, that was when Wonder Boy came back, and then the 5th round it was Wonder Boy. I'm sorry, he won that, and that's why when they called him the winner, they retallied that shit, and even Woodley, he thought he was going to lose his belt because he had that in his mind because he fucking lost that match. I'm sorry. I mean, you have to give that dude some fucking credit. He was in a fucking guillotine for a long time with Woodley and got out of that bitch. And I'm telling you, if there's any more time in that fourth round, he might have would have ended his ass. You got to give Wonder Boy some credit. He's fucking good. And I think he's a very humble and compassionate opponent. I think he he's very respectful. And the whole thing that bothered me with Woodley, I'm watching this post press conference and Woodley's talking about Conor McGregor. No, you're gonna get your ass in there and give that dude that you just got a draw with his rematch. I'm sorry. You're not getting a money fight. You don't deserve one. I mean, I'm sorry. Tyron Woodley's a powerful fighter. He has some fucking knockout power, but I'm sorry. He beats Robbie Lawyer and he thinks he's like God's gift to the UFC. I mean, one thing I agree with Conor, ever since Conor blew shit up, everybody wants to fight him. One thing I'm going back to Nate Diaz again. I know it's a UFC 205 review, but one thing I don't like, they treat Nate like garbage. Nate should be, if I was Nate, I would be in there fighting. This is his time to shine, build some more fights. They need to get more people going, get some more buzz, because Ronda Rousey, that horse is about fucking, that camel is out of water. I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't think I'm sorry. I just don't think she has it anymore. She'll really surprise me. I like Ronda Rousey, but if you watch that press conference where she just walked off, and didn't even say nothing, and Dana White at the press conference tonight after the fight, he's trying to damage control that. He's like, oh, well, they were supposed to hold the belts, and that wasn't how it was supposed to go. No one was supposed to talk. No, bullshit. She didn't want to talk. Because she don't want to have to answer any fucking questions that are hard. Because she knows those people are going to ask her the real questions. And Ellen isn't, But yeah, let's get back to UFC 205. I just think Nate, this would be his time to shine. He better hurry up, get out there while he can, and build some more people up in UFC. I like Conor. I have a lot of respect for him after tonight, And I have to say he delivered, But Nate, get in there and do your shit, man, because you can get it too, Build up some other fighters. There's other good fighters in there right now. In other divisions. It's a shame the lightweight division, that used to be like the best, and that went to shit. Now you just have fucking Daniel Cormier, Rumble Johnson, John Jones on the fucking sideline. Sad. But yeah, it started out with Miesha Tate, and Miesha Tate retired, and I think she should. She's not doing good. I like Miesha Tate. But let's be honest, lately she has not been doing good. Yeah, she won the belt, beat Holly Holmes, really surprised everybody. But the real reason they keep her in the UFC and they're so nice to her, she's a hot piece of ass. But, if you look at some of her matches, she went to war with some people, She's just she's done. And I think it's a good thing for her to retire. It's a shame you're going to have that hot piece of ass gone. Because I agree, I like watching hot girls fight, even if she loses. But, I mean, what's her name? Raquel Pennington, she fucking, she beat her, she got her. The first round, Tate, I thought, did really good. I thought she had, that round, but the last two, Pennington had that. Tate got on her back. It looked like she was going to do her, her signature shit where she gets on the back of the girl and drops her. Kind of like what happened to Holly Holmes, but she couldn't get it in the first round, and, Pennington just wore her out. Chris Weidman versus Soldier of God, Yoel Romero. Man, I didn't know. At first, I was watching the first round, and Weidman, I had him winning that round. Then Romero turned that shit around, and got him. I thought that was pretty good. Romero got him, what was it, the third round he got his ass. He fucking did that kick, and it kind of like, it was something where he basically, he kneed him and then came down with a knee. And I believe Weidman hit his own self on the knee, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he fucked him up and then marched around the octagon. I love that shit. That shit was great. Very good fight. That's where it was that's where I really got excited for this event when that match happened. Then you had Joanna, I can never say her last name because it's hard to pronounce, Joanna Jurek or something. I like her. She's a great fighter versus Carolina. I can't even say her name. Not even going to butcher it. But Joanna and Carolina, they fought. Great match. Carolina, she really surprised me. Now in that fight, I had Joanna clearly had it 3 rounds. I mean, there was, even though it went to decision, she did win. But you gotta give Carolina some shine. She fucking went to war with her. She really opened up towards the end of the fight, the last 2 rounds. So that was because I had it Joanna first round, she won that one. Second one, she won that one. Third round, she won that, and then Carolina the fourth one, and then the fifth one could have been anybody's fight, but I give her mad respect. Then you had the whole thing with Wonder Boy versus Tyrone Woodley, which basically, you had Tyrone Woodley, it was a draw, and the first round I gave Woodley, second Wonder Boy, third Wonder Boy. You could argue a tie, maybe, but I think it was Wonder Boy. Then the fourth round, Wonder Boy came back. That's where he, was in. That was the whole. I believe that was the whole thing. The guillotine where he came back, and then the fifth round was Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy won that fight. He was cheated. In my opinion, I don't think Woodley should have walked out there with the belt. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But that's you go back to the whole Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz thing. That's what happens when it goes to decisions. Don't like. Dana White said a long time ago, my brother saw in a conference, he told me, never let it go to decision, never leave it up to the judges. Alright, then you had the Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez match, which I have to say, Conor schooled that motherfucker. Knocked him down, I believe, 3 times in the first round, and he did that 4-hit combo, what was it, southpaw, and he just laid into him and fucking just pummeled him when he was on the ground. Eddie Alvarez put on a very poor performance. I was ashamed of him. I'm not the biggest fan of Eddie, but I was cheering for Eddie because I thought Eddie was going to win it. But I gained mad respect for Conor for that fight. I do. I mean, I'm a Nate Diaz fan, but you got to give respect to Conor. He's got 2 belts now, the featherweight and the light heavyweight. I'd be really surprised to see Tyrone Woodley versus Conor McGregor. I don't think that's going to happen. Even though I know Woodley's dying for a money fight, he's just screaming for a money fight. He wants George St. Pierre. He's screaming for him at the post conference. He's been saying it a while. No, he don't deserve that shit. Sorry, get back. Like Conor said at the post conference. He said basically get in there and show me, and then we'll talk. And before that, I can never say this guy's name either. Khabib versus Michael Johnson. Man, that was another good fight. You gotta give it to Michael Johnson. He's pretty good, but Khabib put him in a fucking Kimura in the 3rd round. Very good. Frankie Edgar, disappointment. I was very disappointed in Frankie Edgar's match. Nah. That was, I didn't like that match too much. But yeah, it was overall. I believe what was it? Frankie Edgar. He defeated Jeremy Stephens. Third, I believe it was the decision. Jeremy Stephens, he was doing good at times in the match. That was in the prelims, but Frankie Edgar, he won that. But yeah, it was pretty good. I liked UFC 205. More respect for Conor, like I said. I think it lived up to hype. I think they delivered. I'm very, Conor was supposed to have a big announcement. He just announced him having a baby. He's going to have a baby in March or May. But he didn't. I think he had plans if something went south, he maybe was going to do something. But now that he's, got 2 belts and, he's just, even when you're listening to post-fight, and Tyrone Woodley was talking, he says 99% of people here for Conor. He knows he's got the UFC by the fucking balls, Conor, and he's going to get paid that money. He wants his share of the UFC because they're bringing in some serious money now, and these fighters are on welfare. Let's be honest, for what they're doing for the UFC, Conor, and what the UFC's bringing in, he's getting peanuts. All of them are. Anybody worth a damn in there is getting fucking peanuts. Nate, get on that shit. I'm telling you, don't wait on the sidelines and wait for that trilogy fight because it may not happen, because they know you can fucking beat Conor and they don't want it. They don't want their golden goose not golden no more. I mean, I'm telling you, get in there, find some other components, get it going. But tell me what you think in the comments section. I loved it, guys. Well worth it. Later, YouTube.